there was a behind. If he was laying face down, it wouldn't be behind him, it'd be above him, right? So that's why I think he's probably sitting. Behind him, there was a voice like a trumpet, chapter 1. Chapter 4, the same voice speaks to him. He hears, come up here. Immediately, I was in the Spirit. Immediately. So he was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and then something happened as he's writing to the churches. I'll say he comes out of that process, so that he's writing maybe. And then again, he hears that voice, and immediately he's in the Spirit again. And he's sitting in his cave, or wherever he was at on the Isle of Patmos, and simultaneously, maybe his eyes are closed, he's starting to see these things in heaven reveal themselves. What we're going to notice in this as we keep going forward is that John is living this out in real time. Because in just a minute, we're going to see that John says there was silence in heaven for about the space of an hour. Or 30 minutes. We'll find out. I don't remember if it's 30 minutes or an hour. But that means that literally John is sitting, watching these things unfold, and he has a sense of time while he's experiencing this. So this is, for him, a life experience. It's like us having this experience right now. We've just had 45 minutes of class. Right? We can say, because we just shared this, that we've had 45 minutes of class. John is experiencing these things. He's seeing the people. He's seeing the 24 elders. Him being one of them. And what humility. He doesn't say like, hey, I was number 12. Right? Never says that in the entire book. And yet, he's experiencing these things. He sees 100 million angels, the 24 elders. He hears all of creation worshiping at the same time. This is, I mean, can you imagine? Have you ever seen the videos of people that are colorblind and they put on the correcting glasses and for the first time they actually see color? Have you ever seen the videos on YouTube? Oh my gosh, they break down, they start bawling. They're like, oh man, they see their, oh sorry, I'm not going to do it. They see their kids' faces, and they're like, they can't believe what their children look like. They see their spouse, they didn't even know what their spouse ever looked like. Because they couldn't see color. And they put the light-corrected glasses on, and all of a sudden, now they can see what everybody else sees, the way that everybody else sees it, and it's beyond words. It's so emotionally overwhelming that they can't process it. I remember when I was in 4th grade, it was just before Thanksgiving, and I got glasses for the first time. I didn't know that I couldn't see. And I remember driving to my grandmother's house, and we're driving down I-70 in Kansas, and I remember looking at the distance. Oh, sorry, even thinking about it. It's overwhelming. I'm 54 now, and I mean, I can remember this when I was in 4th grade. I remember seeing the trees. I couldn't get over what it looked like to see trees, the leaves and everything. I mean, it was overwhelming. I remember looking at everything as we're driving down the highway and thinking, oh my gosh. And I think it's the same thing that Steve saw. I think it's the same thing that my mom and my dad, my father-in-law saw. It's like this, oh my gosh. It's just beyond our ability to describe. Sounds, I was telling you about the vision that I had where the woman was she was above the rest of the people who were in the rapture, and she was singing, and she had her hands lifted to the Lord, and she was dressed all in white, and she had the most perfect, pitch-perfect, clear voice I've ever heard. I've never heard a voice like that on earth, ever. The only time I've ever heard pitch like that woman was in that vision. I've never heard it since then or before. I can't tell you what that pitch sounded like because there's nothing on earth that I can use to describe it other than to say she had perfect pitch. That's the best I can do. I experienced that. It was a sound. It was overwhelming. It was like, how is that even possible? Right? That's what John is experiencing. He's hearing these sounds. He's seeing these colors. He's trying to use things that we understand. An emerald rainbow. I mean, an emerald rainbow. Seriously? There was an emerald rainbow. Right? And yet, he's doing his best to help us see what he was seeing. Falling abysmally short, but doing his best. So, let's take a break. In about 7-8 minutes, we'll come back. We're going to pick up Revelation 6. Is that right? Yeah, Revelation 6. This is good. Put your seatbelts on, because what we're going to find out in Revelation 6, We're going to do a little bit of thumbing back and forth. We'll open up to Matthew 24, we'll open up to Revelation 6, and we'll talk about how Jesus told us the 7 seals in the book of Matthew when he was talking to the disciples. So take a 7-minute break and let's come back.